binary. Okay, not you, sorry. Yeah, binary files, we have dealing with files in general, like reading and writing. Input and output streams, we will look into different classes below that hierarchy. So I think we discussed this before, even part of SE201, if you remember. We were always talking about the machine language, how it's translated into zeros and ones, and how difficult is it for a human being to read this and try to put instructions of that sort. And for that reason, they brought up the level of high-level languages. So if you remember the hierarchy, it is high-level language to machine learning to the hardware level. So it executes faster on the machine side. So again, high-level language is usually something written in English-like structure, while machine language is usually a series of 0 and 1. Let me remind you again of this hierarchy that we discussed, of how a compiler turns your Java into .class, right? And then with the help of Java Virtual Machine, it gets to be running on any operating system. So that's simply what we have here. We will try now to see how would our code deal with external files. So this is, okay. That's moving basically from low level to high level or vice versa if required. In a process we can call encoding, so moving every character into its own 0 and 1 representation, or simply doing the reverse engineering, decoding. Just making it decoded, exactly. Type, let the fun start. Type, can you find me the physics book here? Can you tell me which shelf, maybe the color of that block? It's called Physics 1. Nice. It took you around 20 seconds. Type, okay. Now this is actually what you're doing with the data structure course, right? We learned already how to do some searching algorithms. The fastest, of course, the better. But if I ask you, for example, where is the cookbook? Can you find it?
Yes.
You can find it? Nice. Like, can you tell me what recipe exists in page 10? No. Why? Thank you. But that's the same exact way how we perceive any content through files. So there is usually a flow of process, okay? We need to first find our own file, which is in our case here the book, right? We need to know what we are searching for, yeah? And then we need to open this book, which is opening file. Then you start reading through it. Then once you find what you are searching for, you return this result back to the caller. All right. So imagine you're trying to read data from a PDF. Now this PDF in general is a combination of lots of objects, right? This can be seen now as images separately, as text separately, as, what did you take in SE220? Any possible representation, check boxes, radio buttons, shapes, could be anything, right? The content of this file, we cannot really put under one category, right? It could be any possible unstructured data. So for this, we try to put a stream of objects. We need to first know where is this file located. Once you know the location, you can provide one of two permissions, right? One that's read-only, which means you can only view the file, right? But you cannot make any changes to it. Or the other permission, which is read the name. Right?
We took it into 120.
Read and write. Thank you. So we have read only, we have read and write. Yeah? We don't have write only. Okay? So you cannot really have write only. But anyways, let's play really quick. You just need to tell me like which of these devices fall into input devices. Don't look. Or output devices, or both.
Keyboard, input.
Like, let's start with the pen. Oof.
Printer,
Wait, it's not. But anyways, let's do it this way. The pen Input or output or false? Input, monitor,
Output.
that's output. How about this QR scanner? That's input. How about the camera? Input or output?
Both. لا input.
بوز بدنا تاخذ صورة وتعرضها صح؟ ايه بوز
هي نفسها.
لا this is
لا this is input.
هي input, right? You don't have any display on the camera itself, right? Screen is the output, exactly. طب how about the keyboard?
input.
How about the printer? Output, excellent. How about the scanner? What? Input. Just like how you take it with Java. Remember, we have two major libraries. We say what? Scanner for reading the user input, right? We also have the system.out.print or print line, which is an out, right? The other one uses system.n, the scanner, right? Like, how about this? Touch screen. Touch screen. Like, show us. Touch
The screen is the output.
هلا فهمت. It's input ولا
Input ولا output? You tell us. Like, okay, speaker, output. How about the, what is it? Oculus. Okay. How about the microphone? Sorry, it's the headset with the microphone. So it is both. Sorry, what did you say on Oculus? It's also both, right? Because you can see, you can also engage with it through controllers, remember?
It's not the controllers. So it's
Yeah. Hand features. Type, okay. Anyone here is a good cook?
Yes, me.
Nice, okay. So I gave you a raw fish. How would you cook it?
What?
Raw fish.
Raw fish. First, I'm gonna clean the fish,
Okay,
and then I put the butter above the fish,
nice.
and then seasoning,
Okay,
and then cook it inside the.
nice. Very good. So this is your input, I assume, right?
Yes.
Then it goes into the oven, which is a midway process. Okay, we don't know. Maybe you get it burned, maybe you get it cooked, right? Then the final output, where you have the final dish ready. Nice. That's the same exact process we deal with any program in Java or any other language. So we need to identify what is that intermediate process that happened here. In our scenario here, okay, let me just explain this step by step. We will identify here two terms. Let me just clarify them. We have input stream, we have output stream, okay? Like, this is your program in graphical user interface, tamam? Now this program requested some data that are saved into any file on your desktop, okay? So this becomes my data source. Let's assume I have all my students' data, for example, their name, their ID, their grades, their GPA, all stored in Excel sheet. And I need like this file to be able to read from this Excel sheet, okay? So the way you do it here is read or write.
Read.
That's reading, right? That's why we call it input stream, right? Fine. Let's do the other way around. So this is still my same program, okay? But now a new faculty came in. He's trying to choose student X, okay? He fills his data on the graphical user interface. Then he presses the button saying save. So this gets to be synchronizing with the same file that I had to read at first. So it will keep all my students' data, but it will add also this new student row to it. Now this is read or write.
Read and write.
That's right, only. Because again, you are taking the inputs from here, right? You're only saving it directly to this file, just knowing the file name and the file location.
But I'm taking it, so I'm not.
Yeah, you're taking what? From this. But no, look at the file itself. What kind of transaction you're making to the file. That's only right, yeah? So here, you're only reading from the file. Here, you're only writing to the file, right? Of course, ideal programs will have both, okay? So it could be the same file. Any person could be pushing data in. Some other person is seeing it. Type. So now we can relate this to something we know, which is scanner library, right? So in the input stream part, let's think of a scanner object. This scanner object has access to any file, okay? So this is new file, temporary.txt, where I save my own data in there, okay? Then I have input dot next line. This is how we read our input, right? So we get to see it line by line, and then this is simply the input stream. Now the other side here deals with the printing side, yes? So we have here print writer, again accessing the same exact file, but this one is going to simply push some data into it. So this is your print writer object dot print or print line or printf. Then you put here any possible output. Then once you're done with the entire process, you need to make sure that this stream is entirely closed. So whatever stream that you use to simply read and write data, you need to make sure that now it's closed, no one can access it for security purposes. You will see this later, inshallah, in database course. A concept, like we explained it just in concept, the DBA format. Like when we have database, let's say administration, that gives permission to specific people, telling them what to access, what to modify, and so on. So they can actually generate username and password that are temporary for some content. Once this link expires, you no longer have access to it. So this stream will no longer be accessible to anyone. That's simply a closer look into the print writer class. We have print line, and printf. These are the three main methods we have. And of course, we have the constructor that takes an object of type file class. The close, again, is to make sure that this connection is no longer available. I have here main class throwing input-output exception. That's something we discussed, if you remember, in the last review class we had for SE120. We were discussing one type of exception that only deals with files, one of which was the input-output, but we haven't dig into details yet. Today we're supposed to do this. So again, what kind of problem you might encounter while reading or writing into a file?
Empty file.
Empty file, okay.
File doesn't exist.
Okay, files that are not there, excellent.
File is full. Can this happen?
File what?
Full. Can this happen?
Nice.
ممكن إنه يكون
That's valid under given conditions. I'll discuss
ممكن
this.
النيم اوف فايل ما كتب صح؟
Nice. So the file is not there still. Yeah.
ممكن
Okay.
إنه يكون الفايل بس reading وأنت تعملي write.
The permission is wrong. Okay, nice. We'll also discuss this. Excellent. Very good. Like, your point. So it is so valid that you might actually sending data and storing it temporarily into a midway buffer. And this buffer, you can even specify its own size in terms of bytes. Okay? So like you push data, let's say from this file into your own program, or the opposite, through this buffer in between. Buffer, just think of it like a heap or stack or any possible data structure source. Okay? If it gets filled based on the size you put in bytes, let's assume I give it total size 100 bytes. Okay? If your input that you're sending at a time exceed that limit, you might either see it truncated or it prevents it from being written to the file directly. So yes, it is so valid. Okay? Like, what happens here, I'm trying to create a file object. This file object has my own file reference, which is cores.txt. And I do have here a print writer object that gets access to this file. You can still do these two steps in one if you want, using anonymous file creation here. And once you have this file accessible, now you can start pushing data to it, right? So this is Huda writes 2021, okay? Now what's happening here? Am I writing on the same line or different lines?
So the first, the same, the last, no, different.
Okay, so tell me how the output will be.
Huda writes would be one.
Huda
Huda
writes,
space writes.
Huda space writes,
Space.
space,
Another line.
new line, 2021.
No,
Okay.
without space between them. Huda and writes are connected.
Huda and writes
No,
are
there's
connected.
space.
No, في space.
شوفي
Right.
Huda.
By default, the cursor goes to the next line.
Hmm.
So when there's a new line that's a double line thing, like it's two lines. I think that's how it took in 120 when we took 5.
So what is the output?
So it's gonna be Huda writes,
Hmm.
and then line empty, and then 2021.
Hmm.
No?
I'm shocked with all these answers.
2021 ما فيها it's not printed.
Yeah.
error.
Wow. Wow.
غلط؟ لا.
Okay, when we say print, I assume this has. Okay, anyways.
أخذناها
Let's face
آخر
it,
شيء
let's
بدنا
face it.
الجزئية.
Just like the system
System
that
that
I.
added print.
It's the same, okay? Like, what happens here? We have Huda, space, that's print, not print line. So we're still on the same line. So Huda, space,
Right,
right, space,
Yeah.
2021, then
And I.
new line.
Okay.
So the cursor moves,
Yeah, صح.
okay? So the print line usually writes the new line after this print statement is over, okay? So
بس
the cursor,
2021 isn't a string كمان.
what do you mean
How will it
2021?
print?
It's a normal end.
طيب let's print.
لخبطنا بين
What
بايثون
has to
وجافا.
Just that.
What has to be a string?
Lay has to be string.
Error يصير.
Okay, that's println, part of the output. That's part of this class, okay? That's part of the print writer class. We're not dealing with the system.out.print. But say same logic, okay?
لا system that added print I guess بيطلع error.
Here, no. Yeah, but the other one you have to put a string. I see your point. No, here, no. Here, this actually could be written without any issue. Now, the scanner is the opposite. So we use it mostly to read data, right? We have two possibilities, either pushing the input directly or the file object. Yeah, exactly. We have two ways actually of reading the input, either line by line, right? Or word by word, every time you hit a white space, remember? So we have dot next and
Has.
dot next. Line. Yeah, all good? Now, and then we have has next. What is has next here?
It's coming next.
Close?
لا
Yeah.
maybe لما يكون في spaces كتير بعدين
You close, all of you.
But
Yeah.
Is it a
what that has, what it contains.
Contains next. Nice, very good answer. Yeah. Anything to add?
I'm not gonna try.
No, try. All good.
Is it a boolean? Like if there is
It is a Boolean. It is a Boolean. Excellent. It is a Boolean. Sure. So it's going to give you either true or false. Hmm?
أقصد إذا أنت ولا عندنا text.
Exactly. If it's empty, like no more files, no more content to read, or you're still expecting more characters. Excellent. Okay. So the has next, as we agreed, is Boolean. We have used delimiter. Ever heard of delimiters? Nice. That's the chance. Okay. Now let's open Excel. I'm pretty sure you know Excel. And I'm pretty sure you know this step, but maybe you're skipping it. So let's assume I build any possible data here, okay, regardless. And I want to save my file. Here, okay, see this. This one is comma delimited. This one is tab delimited. This one is space delimited.
يعني بلون الأشياء.
So it tells you how would you separate the content that you're trying to save here. So do you want to say, for example, let's call it something nice, AP, let's say, 1, 2. Do you want to store your data as A, comma, B, comma, 1, comma, 2? Or you want to do it as 1 space, A space, B space, 1 space, and so on. So it tells you what is going to be the separator between your data cells. Okay, now we know the close. We agreed we will use it mostly every time we want to end this too. But who can tell me what's happening here? So I have here a scanner object that reads hello world. Okay, and I do use here some backslashes, and I do define this to be my delimiter. Okay. Then I double check. If my scanner still has next characters to read, I will print whatever it reads, word by word. That's the dot next. Yes, Lee?
It will read it as hello, a word, and then WOR another word and then LD another
Excellent, excellent. How the output will be structured.
word. Hello
Hello.
slash.
WR. لا
Space.
without
I'll
slash.
Sorry. Hello. Word. LD.
Same line?
لا ورا
No.
Yes, excellent. See this? Well done. So hello, were, let, right? These delimiters are gone, no more, okay? So this is how now we separate our content. Do you know that this is a very common trick in cryptography? So do you know, okay, what hackers do usually, let's assume you're sending an email, okay? So you're texting your friend, you're saying, hello there, we haven't met, let's say in a while, let's catch up in, I don't know, let's meet by the riverside, okay? That's your message. Someone is very curious to know what's happening, so he tries to get in, and he could possibly get full access to your text. One common trick they use, like once, let's say you send your message to your friend, in the middle, they turn it entirely into a single statement. Okay, wait. So for example, you will see everything is written without any single white space. Because people, if they can identify, let's say, the length of the words, they can give it guesses, okay? Let's say 2 spaces, I can guess this is high, okay? And if they discover 1 or 2 characters, they can discover all. So one way of doing, I'll show you an example. بس مشكلة We'll talk about this, but let me show you a quick example. That's extra, okay? You don't need to worry about this. Okay. Are you aware of the ASCII code, let's say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I think I have it here in one of the examples. Okay, for example, let's assume I'm trying to add my name in a message. Okay. Or let's say I'm trying just to submit a username and password to any login form. Okay? So ideally speaking, it goes directly into database, right? So what they do while it's on the way to this database, they try, let's say, to encode it or make a masking for it. Okay? So let's assume I'm pushing here data like Huda, let's say. So this can be, for example, okay? So it gets saved into the database as this. Now, if you are trying to get the ciphertext, do you know what ciphertext? Can you tell what is the, so this is the ciphertext. Can you tell from it what is the plain text?
Yes.
What?
The same from here, صح? It's from here.
You tell me.
الرقم تبع الأصل.
Yeah, that's my input. Now you know the plain text, but I assume that you don't know this, okay? How would you know that this is Huda? Tell me how.
75. Or is
Okay, that's a process we call shift cipher. The name might give you some hint.
I know, but I can't find it from here. هلا if it wasn't here I can tell إنه مثلا for example example, K is 75. Then 75
Minus.
Hmm.
What? Minus something.
K or
It's going 3 every time. صح?
Thank you. Well done. See this?
Minus 3.
Excellent. See this? It was here at K, which represents H, right?
شو فرق ال K اللي هون عن ال K اللي فوق؟
That's capital. Capital K, capital H, right?
طيب شلون؟
Then I have R and O. R and O is what? Where is R and O?
114.
That's O. That's R, right?
yeah.
So again, 2 in between. Then D and G. D and G, right?
Yeah.
Then I have A and D. Where's that? A and D. Yeah? So it's always 2 steps far away, right?
لا هنا وين؟
From A to B to C to D.
Is it always like that?
Like this.
I
Oh,
guess
that's
we-
the thing. If you can detect a pattern, you know how to decode it back.
بس استنى ما اقدر اطلع ال
مم.
ما اقدر اعرف الكلمة نفسها يعني اعرف الحروف شلون؟
عادي you guys can
Okay, okay, في extra
Isn't there
steps.
like devices for this that like
Yeah.
decode this stuff?
Here is the thing.
And World
If
War
I
II,
can-
they used it, صح?
What is that again?
World War II, they used this.
Oh.
ألا
Well,
they
actually,
did-
yes. There is something called the Caesar
The
cipher.
Germany, they're German.
Caesar cipher.
Yeah.
Qaisar.
Oh.
It's back to the
Qaisar,
Qaisar. It's actually nice actually to look into. But if you need more details, we can have a separate
Isn't
topic
the
on
one
this.
اللي هيك dots
Yes, can be machines actually
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it used to, I don't
Well, I
know,
saw
they
this.
use the sound exactly with the code. Like if it's 1 tick, it means a letter.
Yeah.
If it's 2 ticks, it means another
No,
letter. And
it's
so on.
like for example, A it will be tick tick tick,
Yeah.
and then B is like tick.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
like إذا في lines بيكون هيك في tick and then like.
If you look into the history of cryptography in general, it goes over a span time of a minimum. Oh, it's been since 1862, if I'm not mistaken. So it is actually a very old science, but rules started to evolve so recently.
Cybersecurity.
That's cybersecurity. You love it till you dig into the math foundation behind you start hating it. But it's nice, honestly. I really love it. But anyways, that's the easiest type of cipher. Yani. Just to know the pattern, it's not usually this easy.
C is
But now this is already covered.
T T.
طيب.
بتكون إذا أخذنا تراك سايبر في حيكون فيها هاي الأشياء؟
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, of course. Intro to cryptography actually has this. Okay. We stopped it here, right? So again, back to the point. Sometimes, just to trick you more, they try to put the entire phrase without any spaces. Okay. So what you get to see as ciphertext. Okay, I'm telling you. If you, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Here. Again, if I try to tell you.
Please أحسن بحيث إنه يعني I take them more.
And if I showed you this, okay? If you know that I only have 2 letters, then I have 5 letters. What is the possibility of you guessing this
مثلا
one?
هنا هاي أعلى.
How many possible letter you can put here? How many character in English do you have?
أو لا كم كاركتر؟
26 characters, right? So you might go over 26 possibility here to figure it out, right?
وهنا 26.
Same for this, same for this, same for this, same for this, right?
26 times
So at the very end, if I guess that this is H, for example, I can tell this is I. So now I discovered.
يعني إذا في space.
Yeah, لأنه في systems, if you provide a guess, it can tell you if this is true or wrong.
كمان.
Yes. So it can help you actually discover something we know as unique key, which tells you what technique is used to figure out the cipher. I don't want to turn this into security session. But anyways, my point is, if I can know the length, it's easier for me to guess. So they try to remove this space, okay? So now you try to guess a word that you don't know its
ما
length.
بيكون كله مشبوك. أوكي.
So even if you figure out that this is H, you can't really give a guess to the entire statement. Okay? Make sense?
Yes.
Oops. Okay. Type. I can still do it from any online source, any file that exists, let's say online. So I can read through a URL. This is just an HTTP link. And I do have here count. It's gonna open the stream of this online link, and it will start reading, checking of course if we still have more characters to read or not. And if that's the case, it would read it line by line and start to count the value with the total length of characters, updating this value here. Then it prints the total number of characters once it reads the entire file of data. So you might get something similar to this, let's say. And that's pretty common, by the way. You get to see lots of data sets that are only hosted online. People don't allow you the permission to download it, but you can use it online using its own link. So you can do whatever sort of analysis, even connect it to OpenCV, or let's say do any machine learning algorithm on it while it actually exists on their own server. The reason behind it is they want to make sure that the data is kept up to date sometimes. So many dataset providers, they do actually update their datasets over, let's say, once every 2 or 3 months, let's say. So every time you make a change, it will reflect automatically on this link, and it will reflect automatically on your own model if you are connected to it automatically. So this might be also useful to know how to connect to online data sources. Just know this concept, and I will resume it inshallah in the next session. We have basically stream that we discussed already before. For now, I just need you to look into the entire process as a series of bytes. Okay, you're aware how many pets? Nice. Every byte is total of 8 pets, right? So why don't we process it as a single byte?
Negative input.
Okay. Want to elaborate on what you said? So again, if you deal with it as a one whole byte, it becomes a big bulk to deal with, right? But if you subdivide it into small bits, it becomes easier to process. So that's the idea. We do the same now with our big data, okay? So things that are treated, let's say, in 16 gigabytes, or let's say data that are in huge amount and might not be fully compressed, how would you deal with them? You sometimes have a very limited buffer space. So you need to make sure that your data is broken down properly to fit into that buffer in a space that is no bigger than a single chunk, which is very small. Okay? So we will discuss this, inshallah, in more details and see the proper hierarchy of classes that we will deal with, inshallah, next class. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay, I'll take attendance for this class in the other one. Okay?